Hello, my friends. Welcome to Chord Dave Live. It's Saturday. It's 10 p.m. here in Ireland. So, you know what that means. Not only is it Chord Dave Live time, it's beer time. So, sláinte to you, my friends, wherever you may be. Yes, the old Guinness for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Michael Tweska straight in with the super chat. Thank you, sir. Says I get a cold one on me. Thank you, sir. That is super cool of you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, Michael. Nice way to kick off the show. So super awesome of you to do a super chat. I saw some of your comments coming in earlier as well, so we'll talk about that in a bit. Nicely done. Yeah, Scott Bugfoot was here first, as he always is, and then this really attractive young man called Dave, Chord Dave, asking if chat is working. Chat is working. When I set up the stream this evening, YouTube was like, chat's not working. That's why I asked, was it working? But it seems to be all good now. Just in case you haven't seen it, some of the new Epiphone inspired by Gibson custom range have leaked. They are on musicstore.com. At least they were up to this morning. You can check out all the specs and stuff. I'm going to make a video about it in the next couple of days and get that out for you probably on Tuesday. Some of them you might think are reasonably priced for spec wise and stuff like that, so we'll see what you think. There's a couple of 59 Les Pauls, there's SG Les Pauls, about 61 Les Pauls and stuff like that, so we'll see what you guys think. Other news, as you guys know, I mentioned last week, Slash was coming to Dublin this week. Did he buy my Flying V, or am I allowed to talk about it? We'll find out later on in the stream. And another thing, I was going to say at one point in the chat when it wouldn't let me, probably going to do about an hour and a half tonight. I'm testing out various things over the next few weeks. We've done the last few weeks at an hour. I think that's a little bit too short for me on the live stream, but 2 hours might be a bit too long, I think, sometimes. So we're going to do an hour and a half, see how that works tonight. And then maybe next week we'll do an hour and a half as well, and then we'll see if we go back to 2 hours after that. But for now, hour and a half is kind of what I'm looking at for tonight. And yeah, let's jump in and get on with it. If you have any guitar questions or anything coming up, let me know if there's anything you want to talk about, and we will see. Also have some a podcast episode coming up this week that you guys can check out. We'll talk more about that maybe next week when it comes out. So the interview series that I started with Steve Cassidy guitar a couple of weeks ago, I'm going to turn that into the Chord Dave podcast and interview people on a hopefully weekly basis. And the next episode of that should be out next week, towards the end of the week, I would imagine, with Mike from Upstairs to the Right Music. We had a great chat yesterday about guitars and things, and I'm setting up a few more of those. So if there's anyone you want me to talk to or try and reach out to get on a podcast style, interview style thing, let me know. Obviously, I'll try and get as many people as I can, but I won't be able to do I won't be able to guarantee I can get everybody. I'll try my best. Anyways, I'm going to dig into the chat, guys, and see how we get on. Rob F is here as well. Great to see you, Rob. Hope all's good with you, my friend. Scott says, cleaning my house all day. Other than that, I'm great. How about yourself? Yeah, well, cleaning the house has to be done, sadly. On spring break with the kids in Maryland's Catoctin Mountains. I don't know. I have to start cleaning the rental house tomorrow. Damn it, man. Sounds interesting, though. Mountain times is good times. At least I'm not back home with one of my grown-up kids and grandkids. I left my sister-in-law to host Easter this year. Oh, yeah, Easter. Happy Easter, everybody. Almost forgot, despite the chocolate eggs everywhere. T is here as well. Good to see you, T. Hope you're doing well, my friend. And he says, sounds like a cool few days away, Rob. Indeed, it does. Scott asking, did you guys get any new gear lately? I have bought a guitar. And if Muddy H2O is here or he pops in later, he'll probably give me shit for it because he's given me shit for it all day, all week. But I have bought a new guitar. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. But what I will say is I expected it to be delivered next week, and it's now not going to be delivered until the end of April. So I'm wondering, I'm still trying to decide whether to wait or just cancel the order and buy something else. It's kind of a dream guitar, so I might hang on, but we'll see what happens next week. Rob F says I have a 19-inch rack that matches my speaker cabs on order from Zilla. I'm glad it didn't end after 19-inch rack. That would have been. And it's something else. Ryan Byrne is here. Great to see you, Ryan. Hope all is good with you, my friend. And Rob F says if it will get cabs off the floor, has rollers to help clean behind the cabs, and will house the power conditioners and Friat power stations I need for my future amp purchases. Man, you're getting set up pretty sweet there for sure. Way more attention to detail than I would have put into it. Anyways, I see yet another super chat has come in, this time from Young Muddy H2O, just with eyes, which I know means he's going to follow it up with something ridiculously offensive in a few moments, which is fine. Just bear in mind, he only tells 98% of the truth 14% of the time. So just be careful, folks. But thank you, Muddy H2O, for your generosity. And now I prepare myself. So, thank you. I appreciate all the super chats. I really do. It does help out when I go to, pay my bills and stuff. My YouTube bills. There's not many. Scott Bogwood says, sweet, I don't have much rack mounted stuff. My DAC UI is, but I have that on a modified pull-out keyboard thingy I salvaged from my desk. My control desk is built much like Frankenstein's monster. Interesting. Where are the arms and legs? I want to know, Scott. That's it's quite an interesting idea. Rob says, this will be my first rack stuff, all in support of the vintage amps I am silly enough to wish to acquire. Hey, we recommend and endorse all silliness to wish to acquire stuff on this channel. The gas is real, as Mike and I were talking about, and you will see next week. Gas is a very real thing, and it doesn't matter if it's for amps or guitars or whatever. It's very, very real. Ryan says, getting better every day. How are you? In response to Scott, which is great to hear, Ryan. Glad you're getting better every day, man. And glad you're able to join us. Let me see. Scott says he's getting slightly worse every day. I mean, it's a trade-off, just somewhere in the middle, guys. Meet in the middle will be fine. Ryan says, I just sold my Gibson USA Greenie. I have my eye on something really cool. Awesome, man. Can't wait to find out about it, because if you're selling the Greenie, I'm sure it's pretty sweet. Really starting to eye one of those Acorn stair lifts differently. Says Scott, and Ryan says, where they always have an old man in the ad saying, and the price was super low. I don't know those ads, but I can envisage them from both of you guys saying that. Let me see. Advo says, any users of Mad Malco here? Great to see you, Advo. I have not. So not been a user myself. So hopefully someone else can help you out there. Let me see. The only Greenie I want is Alexi Leho signature Greenie. Says Scott. I'm sure that's not true. Let me see. It was the best sounding Gibson I'd owned, but it was just uncomfortable to play. It was heavy. The neck profile was weird. The finish was terrible, even after I polished it. That's Ryan about the Greenie. Yeah, I don't know, man. Something about the USA Greenie just didn't. It just didn't sit right with me. I don't know why. But look, people think they're great, and I'm not gonna say they're not. Who is Mad Malco? And Natfu says, oh, never mind. So there you go. So that is exactly, both of those responses work for me. Robert says, I love the sound of my Roll Your Own Peter Green LP. That's Paul, obviously. I really gotten addicted to the out of phase sound of the humbuckers. Yeah, man, that's pretty cool. Yeah, your guitar is very, very cool. Advo says it's another guitar channel. I'm not aware of it, to be honest. I probably know it if I see it, but I'm just name-wise I'm not aware of which channel that could be. Ryan says, Sam, I'm going to buy a set and put them in my Standards 50 Sender 50s. Oh, the out phase humbuckers. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually. Yeah. Rob F says, Ryan, was it your first LP you decided to try an LP first? I think Ryan's had a good few LPs down the years. Definitely like playing acoustic guitar than skinny necks. Skinny neck electrics. I get you. Yeah, hey, listen, some people. That's all down to taste. Everyone's gonna have a different feeling on that, I think. But yeah, look, nothing wrong either side of that argument for sure. Ryan says no. Sold on Reverb to a guy in France. Lost about $100 after all fees and shipping. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. Scott says acoustics for the win, which is interesting. Considering I don't think I've seen any videos lately with your acoustic Epiphone master built, Scott. It's all the ones I've watched lately have been very cool electric guitars. But I have to admit, in the last few weeks, I haven't really been watching YouTube, so possibly my fault. Ryan says I've had about 20 Gibson Les Pauls. So there you go. Yeah, I thought he's had a good few on their Facebook group and shown some really nice things. Let me see. Still sounds amazing. 20. That's a lot. I have a studio Gibson Les Paul. Studio Les Pauls. Well, Les Paul studios are great. Yeah, absolutely. Big fan of those down the years. Not sure about the modern one yet. I have to see if I can get up close and personal with one at some point. Rob says, despite the £9, I find myself playing my 50 standard Epi more than my Strat and Mustang. Yeah, like £9 is quite heavy, I think, for me, and that's probably the reason why I've shied away from Les Pauls a lot. But yeah, something you just get in the groove of one, you find one comfortable. It's a big change switching between a Strat, say, and a Les Paul. For me, anyway. Sure, we're all different. Ryan says, yeah, I have 6 now that this one is sold. It's L&M Gibson month, so I may get a new one. There you go. Gibson Gibson month. See, that would make, yeah, that'd be fun. Be fun to play around with that. I think if we get another Les Paul, it'll be a Billy Joe of some sort. The Billy Joe Juniors are really cool. Scott, I actually like those a lot. So that'd be a good addition to the collection, maybe in the future. Ryan says studios are great guitars. I want to try the new Modern Light. Yeah, it's definitely on my list. But hey, there's a lot on my list things to check out this year. So who knows what I'll actually get around to. Rob F says that Gibson owns the Epi factory. I forget which Chinese city it's located in. Ryan says I love the Billy Joe case. The case is very interesting and fun, that's for sure. Scott says there's a YouTube video tour of one of the factories, and I had my eye on a Cherry Burst studio at Sweetwater. The model was discontinued before I was ready to buy, so I went with the Epi instead, says Rob. Yeah, there were some really nice finishes and colors in the studios for a while there. A secondhand market has some really good options for studios. Well, if you look back just through studios, which I did recently because of a video that Mike at Upstairs to the Right Music did about buying a studio rather than paying the money for the premium Epiphone prices that we've got now for some models. And yeah, it made an interesting like theory. Is it better to buy an older Gibson? So I went looking to see what was out there in studio wise, what prices, and it's a very compelling argument. Yeah, should you buy an older Les Paul studio that's been broken in a little bit, say, by someone, but probably was bought because it was a cheaper Gibson Les Paul and has not been played too much. I mean, there's good Gibson Les Pauls out there to be had, but at the same time, not as cheap as, and like the 50s, 60s Les Paul standards are very good guitars as well. So it's a whole other thing. But if you're buying, say, a €1,500 or dollar Epiphone Les Paul, probably worth looking at the secondhand market more because you'll get a lot of choice there that you don't really get on that level of Epiphone. Advu says, I want another acoustic, but should I choose Taylor or all solid wood, Cole Clark with higher action? I'm not really the person to answer acoustic guitar questions, but what I will tell you is if you buy it off Thomann right now, you'll get a free Taylor guitar, like a Taylor Mini or something, I think it is. So there's definitely worth looking at that for sure. Let me see. Scott says, I'm saving for a Taylor myself, an 814 CE Builder's Edition. Damn thing's like 7,000 Canadian. I'll be 60 by the time I can afford that. Yeah, that's quite a lot, all right. Let me see. There's a Taylor K66, which is 5K USD, but on Facebook, 2,995 Australian. Seems like a very good deal. Which yeah, I would look into that very carefully. Hopefully it's a decent person or seller, but like if it's a marketplace thing, then oh yeah, I think MP, yeah. Yeah, just check it out, man. Just make sure you're not sending money before getting the guitar, and if it's real, it's real. That's great. Ryan says those are sweet, Scott. Looking at the Yamaha LL56 master built myself, about the same cost. Wow, these acoustics, man. I don't know anything about acoustics, so I'm lost. So I mean, don't know a whole lot about electrics, let's be honest. Scott says, I wish I knew enough to be confident enough to buy used. Abu says, I also want a BMX with front brakes, gyro style. It's an old dude selling it, perfect condition. Very good. I don't know anything about BMX as well, so I don't really know an awful lot about anything, but there you go. Rob says, Scott, if you buy used from a reputable store instead of Reverb, then you can have more confidence. I mean, shots fired at Reverb, Rob. Not incorrect in any way. Sellers are getting a little bit angry with Reverb on fees and stuff like that, but I haven't been selling anything in a while, so I'm not going to complain about them. They do at least show your guitar to a guitar-related audience, which is nice. Old dude selling a BMX, says Ryan. That'll be fun, all right. Yeah, why not? Guitar stores do sell vintage guitars. No, a K66 Taylor 12 string in perfect condition, says that Phil. There you go. Yeah, I mean 12 strings are quite what do you call it? What do you call that thing? An acquired taste, in my opinion. As a player, I played one when I was quite young. This was my dad's guitar, and he was quite good at it. I was not. Still the same. Richard Virginia says, Hi Dave, I solved the neck dive problem with 61 SG Teal. I placed auto wheel weights in the cavity and it solved the problem. Good stuff, Richard. Glad that worked out for you, man. That's very cool. Yeah, absolutely. Good work doing that. And if it solves the issue for you, perfect. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people put some sort of weights in their guitar. Honestly, like neck dives never bothered me, mostly because I play sitting down anyway most of the time. And even when I do, like I'm 90% of the time holding my guitar anyway, like by the neck. So it's never really caused me a problem. But hey man, if it does for you and you solve the problem, that is awesome. And I will recommend that to anyone who asks me in the future. Ryan says they put a little Mexican flag in it like Pedro has in Napoleon Dynamite. Will they? Is that for the BMX? I don't know. I hope so. I hope so. I'm too bitter to get another. I had 2 chrome ones stolen from me at one time. What are we talking about here? Did I miss something? What are you? I wish I still had my old. Oh, Kuaharas. Why are you guys trying to make me pronounce difficult words? There we go. We're talking about BMXs for some reason. Just to be clear, I don't know anything about BMXs. I wish I did. But let me just catch up on chat here because it just dropped in a whole lot of stuff there. Rob F asking Richard Virginia, how many ounces of lead did you add to your SG? That's a good question. Let me see. Oh, you guys are talking about having stolen bikes. I had a BMX stolen 20 years later. I see the same model on a collector Facebook page. Don't know if it's the same one. Need to find the serial number. There you go, man. Yeah, I had a bike stolen when I was like 14 or so. Yeah, and it was a cool bike. My replacement wasn't as cool, but it still got me there where I needed to go, so I couldn't complain. Ben Allmarks here says, good evening, Dave. Evening, everybody. Hope you're all doing great. Hope you're doing great, Ben. Thanks for joining us once again. Always great to have you with us. Eric Ludinger as well says, hey all. Great to see you, Eric. Hope all's good with you, sir. Hope all the Erics out there are doing well. Eric Ludinger, Eric Clapton, Eric the Viking, all the Erics, including the most popular one in the group, which I won't give you his real name, but it begins with an M. Not Michael Tweska, but he is very interestingly saying, I picked up a Marty Schwartz ES335. I might sell my DG335. The Marty Schwartz is loaded, coil splitting, out of phase, push-pull, locking tuners. Yeah, Marty's got a kick-ass guitar, in fairness to him. He did spec it up nicely, Michael. Great to see you in the chat. I hope all's good with you, my friend. Glad to have you with us on this Saturday. Glenn Bailey's here as well. Says hello, family. Good to see you, Glenn. Hope all is good and that you are having a good time with those black guitars that you like so much that it's in your YouTube name. Thanks, Glenn. Scott, Todd Moore is here. Good to see you, sir. Hope all's good with you. Hope you are all well, Todd says. Indeed, Todd, the same to you, sir. Glad to have you with us. Let me see. Grandpa Joe is here. Great to see you, Grandpa Joe. He says, stopping in for a few moments to wish everybody a happy and safe Easter. Indeed, great to see you, Grandpa Joe, and happy Easter to you, sir. Wayne McConnell says, hi, Dave. I'm walking my dogs. Nice. Wayne, yeah, glad. Thanks for joining us. Hope we have entertained you so far in your dog walking experience. And DMAX says, Michael Teska, that's a really nice guitar. Indeed. There's Michael's super chat. Thank you once again, Michael, for that. It's very kind of you. Rocky H is here. Says, hey, Dave. Good to see you, Rocky. Hope you are well. And let me see. We've got a lot of hays and hellos. It's beer time, says T. Indeed it is, T. Hope you're well, my friend, over there in the West. Scott says, I had to catch up. I was outside taking video of a massive double rainbow. I hope that's not a euphemism, Scott, but you know, I'm glad you got to take a video of it. Let me see. Hope you are doing well. So, and T asks the question I've been asked the most this week: has Slash been in touch? And I know some people that are taking that video very seriously. But it was just made to make a video. I didn't genuinely think Slash was actually going to buy my guitar. I did, however, talk to someone on Slash's team. I talked to someone in Slash's band. And we talked. And I'm not going to give out any names. I'm not going to call anyone out. I'm not going to say anything to the negative because I know that they're on stage right now and won't see this. But Todd Dammit Kearns, you owe me an explanation, sir. I mean, some guy in Slash's band, you owe me an explanation, sir. Yeah, so I was talking to Todd about some arrangements and then things just didn't happen. And look, that can happen to bands on tour. Things were, we were talking about hanging out, let's say. Let's just say hanging out, meeting up for hanging out. But it didn't happen due to various reasons. And I'm quite angry about it. No, I'm not angry about it at all. But hey, the guys are in Europe for another few weeks, and who knows what might come of it. Just to be clear, I do not think and have not ever thought Slash would actually genuinely buy my guitar, but it was always a possibility. But no, Slash himself has not been in touch, not yet. So everyone who's been sending me the messages and asking me, no, he hasn't. Marsha's here, says, hey, good to see you, Marsha. Hope you're well and living the dream. I don't know why I said that. It's a Slash album, so. Ryan Bird says, Long McQuaid leaked new Gibson and Epi Viper Blue Epis, Gibson 50s LP in black with P90s. The Gibson and Epi Viper Blues have been Sweetwater exclusives. Thoman have had them there the last couple of months as well. And it looks like Long and McQuaid are getting them then, from what you're saying. So I'm not sure about the 50s LP in black with the P90s, though. That sounds cool. There's quite a few Gibson / Epiphone leaks happening at the minute, which is fun. I do always enjoy that. They don't always enjoy when I enjoy that, but it's happening. Scott Buckford says, thanks, Joe. Hope you're well too, to Grandpa Joe. Rocky H says Epiphone is doing a white custom. Yeah, so there's a lot of Epiphone stuff. We covered them in a video a while ago, inspired by Gibson custom range. Let me see, if you give me a second, I can probably show you a couple of them. I haven't prepared them for this stream, but musicstore.com has all the new Epiphones that are not supposed to be released until April 9th. Although they're saying April 10th, but that's a Wednesday, so that doesn't make any sense. Let me just see if I can get a couple of them up here for you and show you. So these are coming in around between $12.99 and $16.99, I believe. Epiphone and Yeah, they're not showing, they can't show them by new, so I gotta find them on the list. But there's some very cool Epiphones, and the specs are good, but the price isn't as bad as it could be. For especially for the 59 Les Pauls, I think they're coming in at 13.99. That's a European price, so probably 12.99 in the US. And specs are good, man. They're really good. ABR1 bridges and stuff like that. Let me see. I know I showed Muddy the link to it yesterday, and he was very excited. Um, but he gets excited very easily. So, so you don't want to give you links because you'll leave the stream. So yes, if we're talking Les Pauls, there's an Alpine White Custom that's 13.99. Oh, they're saying that is the 18th of April. So that's further away. But I think that just might be that they've sold out of them already. Um, it's got that open book headstock, and it's got let me see, just read out some of the specs. 490 or 498T, no coil splitting, hand wired Mallory caps. Let me see. Oh, these are just not the same. So this is Les Paul Customs, mahogany body with Les Paul Customs or just mahogany body, no maple cap, anything like that. Actually, yeah. So it's not actually the same as what I'm talking about. The 59s are the ones that I think are more impressive. So the 59 that's coming out has a AAA flame maple veneer with a mahogany body, maple cap, 59C, neck profile, ebony fretboard, Graphtec nut, Gibson custom bookers in both pickup positions. It says it has a push pull, but I don't know if it does because there's a 59, so why would it? ABR1 bridge and nickel hardware. Factory tuned to standard E, which is helpful. And it comes in a case, 13.99, and it looks really good. Keep pressing the wrong button. So let me get, right, so I'll just show you these. Just takes me a second to upload them to the streaming platform. But these are very cool things, and they're coming in a couple of weeks' time. So let me find that picture. Damn it, where's it gone? Yeah, that one. That's the 59, which has the best looking specs. Now, these are all priced on musicstore.com at the same price. It was just 13.99 in euros. Looks nice. As I say, it's got an ABR1. You can see the open book headstock is there. Let me go get the custom for you, the white custom that Rocky mentioned, because it does look cool as well. And if you're into customs, you might get excited about it. I think the specs are less impressive on this, though. It does have an ebony fretboard, it has the open book headstock, it has, as I said, the 490 Ors and the 498T pickups, and all that sort of crack. But there isn't, I don't think it's as exciting as the 59. But again, and I've said this before, I think we need to look at the other 1959 inspired by Gibson custom shop thing that's already been out for a couple of years. Is there a, what is it now, like a 400 to 600 euro or dollar price difference because the open book headstock? Some people will say yes, some people say no. It'll be interesting to see them side by side. I'm sure somebody will do that video. I don't think it'll be me, but somebody will. But yeah, it's very cool guitars come. Seems to be the Les Paul collection is coming first, and then we'll see other guitars from that collection. So I'd say inspired by Gibson custom collection should be out. Not this coming week, although it wouldn't surprise me if they announced them this week and they're in store next week. So because I haven't any official release date, but I would say 9th is when they're coming. Of course, Cesar had them in the back of his Instagram videos last week, so we can, usually he does that just before something gets released. So they're coming very soon. Anyways, thanks Rocky for mentioning the white custom. There's also an SG custom with 3 pickups and stuff as well coming. That is part of the collection that should come out soon. Let me see. I'm helping Huey's Itchies, trying to remove his flakes. So if I'm not talking or answering, I'm here, but probably have my hands full. Allergies in force. Thanks, Marsha. Hope you are and Huey are doing well. Uh, Scott says, get that German dude on. Which German dude? Um, yeah, I don't know which one you're talking about, Scott, but let me know if you remember who it is. Ryan says, interview Carl. That will just devolve into two people being brothers and making fun of each other. So maybe you guys will watch that. I tell you, if this live stream reaches 2,000 euros in super chats, I'll interview Carl for an entire day for you guys, which will just be us taking the piss out of each other. But otherwise, I don't think he would want to be interviewed. So anyway, is it Thomas Schuber that I'm thinking of? I don't know. Is it Scott? Is that who you're thinking of? If it is, let me know. Uh, I can look into that. Muddy says, evening, my peeps, which I'm sure has some innuendo tied to it somehow. Glenn says, Dave bought a black Strat. Let's not lie, Glenn. Let's not lie to the folks, okay? I would never buy a Strat. Um, Base Fox 11 fourth says, only 1/3 likes. Let's go. Thumbs up. Thank you, sir. Thank you, person. I should say. Shouldn't gender people, should I? I got in trouble for that once. But yes, 20 likes, 39 people watching. We can up those like numbers, it helps the channel and stuff. So thank you so much, folks, for doing that. Rob F says, thanks for the support, Dave. I'm looking at over $3,000 to properly support two vintage amps that will probably cost me about 2,000 each. Very reasonable, Rob. I appreciate that's what it is, but I do think that you're worth it, Definitely. Yeah, and if anyone says that you shouldn't get those amps and everything you need for them, just tell them to come to me. I'll tell them you need them. Rocky H says, I've been patient for my new Epiphone Customs with the right headstock. I'm losing patience. Gibson is about to get a dung bag on their porch. No lie. Hey, Rocky. Well, hopefully, lucky, as I said, excuse me, you are indeed getting them very soon. Musicstore.com. They have them there in their Epiphone section. As I said, have I still got the page open? I do. The 59 Les Paul standard factory bursts, it says. It has available immediately. The customs, if I click into that, it says estimated to be in stock on the 18th of April. There's a tobacco burst one. That's available immediately. What else have you got for me here? The ebony custom, that says the 19th of April. So maybe the customs are going to be delayed a couple of weeks. Let's see, there's another one lurking here somewhere. Where is it? There is the custom SG Les Paul with the Vibrola classic white. That's $15.99, and that says shipping are available immediately. I don't think they are. The custom booker pickups. Interestingly, there's 3 pickups. It says the middle pickup no, but there is. So I don't know. But I think we're going to have an announcement on those very soon. I think if not this week, we definitely will have the announcement the following week. I know I've said that before, but they're actually on a website that sells guitars now. So I'm surprised because they went up on I think it was Thursday when they showed up. I know I was getting messages about them on Thursday. So if they went up Thursday and Gibson haven't had them taken down yet, this might not be worth their while to take them down. Or maybe Cesar is only finding out about it now watching this live stream. So hi Cesar, thanks for joining us. You're welcome. Richard Virginia says, I ordered a Chris Roca Gretsch, but the expected delivery is November. Sir, I have no patience for that. I'm struggling to hold on to an order for a guitar that is a month away. So yeah, not even. It's 3 weeks away, and I don't even have the patience for that. It's driving me crazy. But there you go. Richard Clark is here. Great to see you, Richard. Hope all is good with you, sir. Yeah, always great to have you in the chat with us, Richard. Ben Almack says, if I were to guess, I'd say Malco knows about more about cheap but good Japanese guitars than probably anybody. That's awesome. That is awesome. Glenn Bailey said, I think you should interview Colin. Absolutely. Yeah, Colin's on my list of of dream interviews. I think though I would have so many questions for Colin that'll be a long one. So we'll have to see how to edit that one down. I think with Colin, we've got a lot to talk about, and it's long overdue. It's definitely he's the next person I want to set up an interview with. So Colin, if you're out there, I'm going to be messaging you, sir. Grandpa Guitarist, great to see you, sir. Says, what are your thoughts on Epiphone Casino Coupe, or Coupe, as you might say? I dig it. I think the Epiphone Casino. I think it's a great guitar. The Coupe or the Coupe, depending on which part of the world you're from. Yeah, I think it's just another great version of the Casino. All in all, I would say Epiphone Casinos are fantastic. And if I say anything else on this YouTube platform, I get in trouble. So, Epiphone Casino fans are quite rabid and have come after me a few times for misunderstandings, mostly theirs, but hey, there you go. But no, I think it's a great guitar, and I'm very tempted by Epiphone Casinos all the time, especially because Epiphone makes some really good quality cheap ones at the minute. So the Coupe I haven't seen in a while, so like I don't know if there's a new version out or if there's one coming, but I definitely think they're great guitars. Sir, thank you so much for joining us as well. I think this may be your first time commenting, so thank you so much for that, in the live stream, I mean. And just on that, Scott Bogfoot reminding, if anyone is new here, you'll have to subscribe and then wait for 1 minute before you can chat on the best chat in YouTube right here. And yeah, and thanks if it is your first live stream, by the way, your first Chord Dave, say hello. And thanks you so much for joining us. As you can tell, most of us are, not terrible, except for your host here, of course. Richard says, good evening from Holland, Dave, man. Good evening, Richard. Hope you're well, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us. Richard Clark says, welcome, Grandpa Guitarists. There are a lot of Grandpa Guitarists here. Indeed, there are. All good guys, of course. Let's see, where are we? Again, with this YouTube dropping in so many. Oh, actually, I'm not that far from the end of the chat, I don't think. Oh, sweet. All right, so yeah, this 1 hour and a half thing might work. Might stretch it, maybe. Let's see how it goes. DMAX says Gibson ES 355 dots are discontinued, about $700 Canadian along McQuaid in April. Some of the other Gibsons and Epis are on sale, but I think the ES 355s are discounted the most. $700 Canadian for a Gibson ES 355. Am I reading that right? Because that would be phenomenal. $700 for an ES, for a Gibson 355. Buy as many as you can. That's a sweet deal. Ryan says they have a new Taylor Mini Rosewood. That's beautiful. Awesome. Yeah, that would be pretty sweet, I think. 355, I mean, typo, says DMAC, and did it again. 335. Even still, a $700 Canadian 335 is a pretty good deal. That's nuts. So there you go. Ryan says, I like 12 strings as almost anything you play sounds good. You can't really miss a note. Oh, that's a quite a comment, sir, and I can prove you wrong. It does have a different thing to it, yeah, for sure. Mark says, also less expensive fees, as I've heard. For what's that for, Mark? I'm not sure. If it's reverb, I had the opposite conversation with someone recently. Muddy H2O says, DMAC ES345. You say, no, he didn't say that. You're just trying to poke me like so many jabs, things. I don't know. But no, he said 335. Learn to read his comment better. Richard Clark says, I can usually get more from a pawn shop and then I don't have to screw with shipping. There you go. That's, yeah, screwing with shipping, definitely not fun at times, because it can go from reasonable to not reasonable very quickly. Scott says, I'd love to play my DR 212, but I really don't want to tune it. There you go, Scott. Man after my own heart. I love that. Thank you for letting us know. I also would feel the same. But I probably only sell 5% of my guitars anyway, only when I feel bad about buying a really expensive one. I feel you, Richard. I feel you. When I do sell guitars and I sell them in reverb mostly, it's because local people try to lowball more than anyone. And what do you call it? Well, reverb people do as well. But the thing on reverb is, and I always forget about the fees and everything. The shipping is always a pain in the ass. At one time, I tried to arrange shipping, and I can't remember what it was, like 80 euros or something. I was like, that's fine, because that's what I charge for shipping, something around that. And then they wouldn't sell me the shipping slip for 80 when I actually went to process it, even though that's the price. They're like, this isn't available. And then I had to end up paying 120 for it the next day, which was a pain. So yeah, shipping can be a pain, for sure. Anyways, DMAC says to Muddy, I don't know what I'm saying or typing right now. DMAC, don't let him get to you. It's his game. He likes messing with people, mostly with me, so don't worry about it. There we go. Eric Ainsley's here. He says, hey peeps and Scott. Great to see you, Eric. Thanks for joining us. Eric Ludinger says, Eric Clapton is 79 years old today if he's watching or with Slash or something. Happy birthday, EC. Indeed. Well, Slash is playing a gig in Birmingham today, so in the UK. So he's probably not watching. Unless everyone at the gig has just stopped because I'm live on YouTube. If that's the case and like the whole arena is watching, hello, Birmingham. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. By the way, I just do want to say, Slash, Miles Kennedy and Conspirators, fantastic gig. Just real rock and roll music that was really enjoyable. And if they come into your town anytime soon, go see them, because they're very, very good. They came out, they played 2.5 hours of music. They just didn't stop. It was non-stop all the way through. I mean, they stopped for an encore thing, just for like 3 minutes. But it was very, very good. The show was great. You know, they just play all their songs and they have a good time doing it. And not to spoil it for anyone, but they did throw in, and they have been throwing in on their tour, one song from Use Your Illusion. And that was a good time, Use Your Illusion era. And so yeah, everyone enjoyed it. It was a great time. Although, here's a question for you. There were people in the crowd, in the standing in front of the stage, with buckets of popcorn. When did that become a thing? who gets popcorn at a gig? I mean, you know, we're standing there with pints, Murphy's, because they didn't have Guinness in the Three Arena, but we're sitting there with our pints, standing there with our pints, and people are walking past us with buckets of popcorn. What? Kids today, man. I don't know what's going on. You're not at the cinema. You're at the concert venue. So where'd the popcorn come? I don't know. Anyway, Richard Virginia says, I used 2.5 ounce to cure the neck dive in the control cavity for the SG. There you go. Very good, Richard. Good knowledge. Thank you so much, sir. Scott Brower says, oi, oi, oi. So thanks, Scott. Hope you're well, sir. Sorry for the terrible oi, 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 but there you go. That's all I can do. Abdo says, gas is bad for space and money. Definitely for money, sir. Yeah, absolutely. I'd rather more space and money. Yeah. I mean, both of those things are good to have, but it's also nice to have nice guitars lying around. Richard Clark says, only buy when an epi is if it has Gibson pups, period. I mean, for that kind of price, exactly. I bought the exact 59 outfit for $6.99 when it came out. And that's the thing, Richard, like I think people are going to heavily criticize this new version of the 59, but it's going to be classed as a higher end product. They're going to really have to sell it. It's because this one's got custom bookers. And the headstock, is that the difference that they're selling? I mean, it's got an ebony fretboard as well. You know, are they going to come out and say this one's 20 times better than the last one we put out? Because yeah, it's people like yourself have bought them for $6.99. They're going to ask you to pay double for this new one. And they're not personally going to ask you, but you know what I'm saying? It's going to be double the price that you paid, $6.99 versus $13.99. They got to justify that somehow. It's only a couple of years since they brought out those other ones. So I don't know how they're going to do it. But we'll see in a couple of weeks maximum. Cesar, if you're out there, let us know. Ryan Burns says, I'd only buy a USA epi. which is another thing. I think we're going to see more USA Epis. That's just a personal opinion of no information on that whatsoever. I do think that they're going to bring out more a USA, a full line of USA Epis at some point. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Glenn Bailey says, so will all episodes have an open book or just the ones over 1K? I presume you mean Epiphones. Uh, just kidding. That autocorrect is a pain in the thing. Um, so yes, in terms of that, not all Epiphones are going to have the open book headstock. That is not going to happen. It is going to be preserved for the Inspired by Gibson range. Inspired by Gibson custom range, and that is going to be the higher end versions of these of Gibson models. So basically, you'll still have the regular Epiphone range. They'll have the Kalamazoo headstock. So everything from the specials, the Les Paul Juniors, the 50 standards, the 60s standards, anything that's just a regular Epiphone release. Kalamazoo headstock, probably all those will be under 1,000, or maybe 1299 even. And then you're going to have these Inspired by Gibson Custom, or what they may decide to start calling Epiphone Premium. And those are going to have the open book headstock. You're definitely paying a lot more for those. You're going to be paying $12.99 plus, say, unless you get them on a good deal. So yeah, not all Epiphones. That's not going to happen because they still want to differentiate those more expensive ones. And for some people, that's a big selling point. So I think, as I've said before, I really like the Kalamazoo headstock, so it doesn't bother me one way or the other. It wouldn't influence me buying an Epiphone over a Gibson having the open book headstock. But having all of the other specs as a Gibson is just cheaper. I think that's a very interesting thing. But I'm just going to watch these very carefully and see how they sell when they do come out. But yeah, it's a great question, Glenn, to ask that. So hopefully we'll know more, though. I think they should come out and explain it a little bit more. So hopefully they will do that. Rob says Epi LPs live to have their pickups, tuners, bridge, and tailpiece upgraded. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Rob. I think a lot of them are fine straight out of the factory. Like, a lot of them are fine. There is an element of if you're like what you did, you had a certain idea, and all of those things can be upgraded, definitely. But for an average person who maybe doesn't have that idea of exactly what they want, those guitars are still very good out of the box. Obviously need a setup and stuff, but yeah, the pickups and stuff like that are acceptable, I would say. But yeah, if you're building like your dream Les Paul, a lot of people will start with a good Epiphone and go from there. Todd Moore says, let's not forget that tomorrow is the 69th birthday of Angus McKinnon Young. Never heard of him. Of the great AC/DC Thunderbolt DC. AC Thunderbolt DC, I should have said. Well, AC/DC, there you go. Yes, indeed, 69 and on the road again this summer, charging $400 or euros for a ticket, where you can still see the stage. So no, despite the fact that they've already sold out. So. Eric Ainsley says, I've been wanting Flying V Traditional Pro Wine Red for quite a while now. I love V's, but I can't take how much plastic pickguard is on so many of them. I know, right? It's like somebody it's like somebody should just reissue the 1982 Flying V, the V CMT, right? Just saying. Mine has 0 plastic pickguard on it. I mean, there's a bit of brass on it, but it's not a pickguard. I'm with you, man. I'm not a big fan of pickguards in general. Some guitars you have to have them on, like a Telly or whatever, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of pickguards, say on Les Pauls and so forth. So I get you. But no, Flying V's are great, man. And if you don't have one, you should definitely pick one up. And I do have to thank Muddy H2O for telling me quite forcefully one stage to just buy a Flying V. And he was, in fairness to him, he was right that time. Not many times since, but that time. Advocate says, what do you think of the Neural DSP, they a VST? I really don't know, to be quite honest with you. Also, thoughts on the Fractal M9. Haven't used any of them, so I'm not really the person who can give thoughts, but hopefully some other folks here will. I mean, I honestly would be making it up if I was to tell you. DMAX is that from what I've heard, if you can afford it and don't mind the learning curve, fractals are the best options out there. I would listen to DMAC on that. That sounds good to me. Um, I Libertine says cheap epis 4600 are big fun, like medium range squires. Get a lot for your money, and it's fun to be able to get the best out of them. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like I absolutely don't disagree with that at all. I think that's the thing, and they're way better than they used to be. Um, Epiphones across the range. I think that is true, but they definitely are not a bad starting point for anyone who wants an Epiphone Les Paul. Um, Eric Guys said, had to wait almost 6 months for the Jerry Cantrell Epiphone. That was too long. Yes, sir, I wouldn't be able to wait 6 months for a guitar. I definitely would have moved on to something that was in stock sooner. So I have no patience though. I mean, when I'm booking a trip away, for example, I'll book it like 2 weeks beforehand. And that even that wait is usually too long. I'm not. And a friend of mine who booked a recent trip I was on, for everybody who went, he booked it like a year in advance. He was happy to do that, and I cannot wait that long, man. That is too. This is crazy. So yeah, I'm no good. I've no patience, is what I'm trying to say. Let me see. Nella says, hey, all, been wanting a Heritage Custom Shop H150, but I do not need another LP style guitar. May need to sell off an LP. Yeah, I mean, Heritage is interesting as a guitar brand. The H150s look great. I know some people have said they don't like the headstock. I don't know. It does look a little bit odd, but I think I think I could live with it because they look like great guitars. Scott says, I thought they got rid of the Casino Coupe 336 and the 339 models. I think in terms of, I mean, obviously the old ones are still available to buy secondhand. Scott, so that's probably where Grandpa Guitarist was coming from. Oh, I think maybe. I don't think they're doing a new one. I haven't heard of anything. Marcia says, I'm proudly terrible. In terms of guitar playing, me too. 700 off more than likely, says Scott. Oh, in terms of that, yeah, absolutely. That would make more sense. 700 off is that would make more sense. I should have read that as 700 off. That's, yeah, let's see. Brain not working so good. So there you go. James Severance here says, hello, Chord Dave, my Irish brother. Hello, James. Great to see you, sir. Hope all is good with you. DMAX says, I Libertine, I agree. I believe the Epiphone SG Standard is one of the best deals out there. I will disagree with you and say the Epiphone SG Special is the best deal out there. Okay, you just said one of the best deals. Yeah, I'll give you that. The SG Special is the best deal out there. Just because I love it. That's why. Benny Larson's here. Great to see you, Benny. Hope all is good with you, sir. Great to see you in the chat, as it always is each week. Thank you so much. DMAX says, no, not the Gibson 335. Isn't 700. It's 700 off the regular price. And yeah, DMAC, I should have read that. I should have read through the lines there, between the lines. But 700 off is a great price, right? That's still pretty good. Maybe don't buy many of them then. If there were 700, snatch up as many as you can. But yeah, good stuff. Marcia said, Dave, you missed a comment before. I had said eBay is best for buying used guitars than anything else because there's more protections, plus I've heard lower fees. If you're buying something, Reverb will protect your ass like nobody else. Like if you report a problem as a buyer on Reverb, they will protect you. If you are a seller, that is how you get scammed on Reverb, because Reverb will back the buyer every single time. Even if you can prove that they've received their item or whatever it is, Reverb will back the buyer if they report that they didn't. eBay might be a little bit different. I don't know. I've had trouble selling on eBay before in the past. Just people being jerks about things and getting, like, on eBay, like, be like, we're going to refund your money. So, and then I had to refund eBay. So I lost out massively on a couple of things years ago. Now we're probably talking 2010, like way back. I don't really like selling on eBay since then because they really screwed me. Yeah, it was basically some dude was like, when he received what he got, which was an educational course DVD pack, which is like, I don't know, it's 20 DVDs or something in it. It was a film business thing, and one of the or two of the DVDs in the whole pack, they came in this plastic packaging, had like some marks on it, but you just had to clean them off. They were perfectly fine because that's how it arrived with me. I sold it for like half the price I paid for it, and the dude got all of that money back from eBay. I was like, dude, there's nothing wrong with it. Clean it off, and they just gave him his money back. So I hate eBay. I hate selling on eBay, and I dislike buying on eBay for that reason. So I only do it if I can't find whatever I'm looking for somewhere else. So probably slightly lower fees, but I don't know. I don't know. I just hate them. Anyways, I'll go on an eBay rant some other day, but, but yeah, I'm not a big fan. D-Max says sale price around 39.99 Canadian. See, that makes way more sense. A 335 for $700 would have been crazy. But come to Dave's guitar shop and there you go. Uh, does anybody have experience trading in at Guitar Center, says Eric Ainsley. Is it any better or worse than a pawn shop? Good question. Don't have guitar centers here, so I don't know, but hopefully someone will. Benny says, I just woke up on the couch, so I'm drinking coffee. Didn't get enough sleep tonight. Mosquitoes have been bugging me. Yeah, sir. Drink that coffee and be awake. That sounds like a plan. So let me see, where have we got? Eric. Where we go? Eric Isley says, I have a mess of sub 400 guitars. It's a lot of hassle to ship and sell. I'm hoping that trading might be an option, but I don't want to give things away either. I always feel like guitar stores will try and get them for next to nothing. So if they're sub 400 guitars, your best bet is try to sell them locally. Use your Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that. Would be the best bet, probably. Richard says, Dave, what are your thoughts on the double neck Jimmy Page? So I have lots of thoughts on Jimmy Page and Gibson, and mostly positive. I'm a big Jimmy Page fan, big Led Zeppelin fan, so I'm excited that they are doing collaborations and working on stuff. Um, the 50 grand guitars, never really been a fan of those, whether it's Greeny or Jimmy Page or whoever. Um, I don't look. There are people who own double neck guitars will tell you they're very versatile and they're great. You can play anything on that 6 string or that 12 string or whatever. I don't think most guitarists will use them a lot because they're heavy and they are slightly awkward to play. Um, which is why the likes of Jimmy Page plays one song on them. But it's iconic. It's an iconic guitar. A lot of people will have had it as a dream guitar. I did for a long time think it was a dream guitar of mine. I've since moved on, having held double neck guitars in the past. And they're very heavy and they're very cumbersome. And I'm not as good enough a player to be able to use them. So I think they're great. I think it's great Jimmy Page is doing stuff with Gibson. And I'm more looking forward to seeing Les Pauls in the Jimmy Page collection. And hopefully we'll see that over the next year or two. Um, in terms of the double neck specifically, I think 50 grand is a joke, but we'll see if they put other versions of it out. I'm sure they will. Um, yeah, just not a big. I just don't think it's practical for most guitarists. But I'm a bedroom guitarist. Who cares what I say about it? To be honest, I think they're very very cool, very very cool. So yeah, if you want one or you're going to buy one, then awesome. That is very awesome. Air Guys, he says, another guitar I've been hunting for years is an Ibanez ART 300 Black Cherry Cayman. Just putting it out there if anyone trips across one for years. Nice, Eric. Yeah, that would be nice to trip up on. So I will remember. If I find one, I'll let you know for sure. Air Guys says, I've been able to catch AC/DC a couple of times back when a ticket was only $50. See, that'd be nice, man. That'd be nice. Scott says, are those 20 to $50,000 Gibsons something that someone with that type of money could have just made to measure the same thing anyway, or is there things made to measure won't do? There is things that made to measure won't do. Yeah, they will. So spoken to people who've done made to measure with Gibson, just curious about the whole thing, and people have said there's a lot of things they won't do, or they will do. only certain things. I know somebody who wanted to do an ebony fretboard on a custom, for example, but not have a first fret block, and wanted to just, start at the third fret. And they wouldn't do that because they were saying that all their ebony comes pre-cut for fret marker on the first fret, so they wouldn't. They were like, we just can't do that. And to the point where they actually just ignored his request. So there's that. I know there's various colors and finishes that they won't do. Yes, and there's some things like if you ask basically to spec out a signature model, they won't do it. If it's like a signature model they don't make anymore, they won't do that, and they won't do robo tuners. So yeah, there is definitely things they won't do, but I don't know, Scott. Honestly, if they would do it for you, maybe. I'm sure they probably would do a double neck. I mean, if they're going to charge you 50 grand for it, why not? Although they can't because it doesn't come all the Jimmy Pageness, right? Todd says, Eric Ainsley, they are my only bucket list band. Had tickets to see them on the For Those About to Rock tour, but they rescheduled and I wasn't able to go. Been a fan since age 12. I'm now 55. It's a long time, Todd. It's a long time. Great band, no doubt. I wanted to go see him this year, but just couldn't justify $400, man. And the tickets sold out in like 23 seconds as well. So in an 85,000 seat stadium. So yeah, and they haven't announced a second night. So there you go. Eric Ainsley says, but despite the wait, the Jerry Cantrell was very much worth it. That is an amazing Epiphone. Can't get enough of it. It was also one of, if not the last signature guitar under $1,000. Yeah, it was one of the last ones, I think. Yeah, the Wino, it's $8.99, I think, when it came out. Yeah, big splash. Don't believe me, but there you go. Michael Watson says, hello, Dave. Hope you are doing well. Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much. Yeah, doing all right. Getting on with it. You know yourself. Hope you are well, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Eric says, it's odd. I'm glad I saw them when I did. Late 90s and early 2000s. Don't do that to me, YouTube. I was reading that comment. It's starting to make me sad. All the nearly 70 or over 70-year-old performers from the 80s. Yeah. What's going to happen when all these rock and roll stars die? Who is taking over? Who's selling out stadiums? Do young bands sell out stadiums now? Because I don't pay attention to young bands. I don't know. Sound like an old fart now. I'm only 42 this year, so I shouldn't really be out of the loop as much as I am. But like, what new bands? Like, are Greta Van Fleet still a thing? Are they selling out stadiums? Like, are they going to take over the spots of in 10 years time of all the big rock bands? Because I like Taylor Swift's not going to do it for me in 10 years time. I'm not going to, want to go to a stadium gig for that or that kind of music. So where are all the rock bands? I don't know. You're probably going to tell me there's like 50 different rock bands that are great now that I don't listen to. Severe Band says, how many Chibsons have been contaminated by lead? That's a great question, Severe Band. I don't know the answer to that. The answer could be literally anything. But good to have you with us. Maybe that's something to look into. I haven't had any information about that, but I wouldn't be surprised. Eric Linger says, eBay backs the buyer every time as well. I lost money and the equipment. Mar says, right, eBay seems to be fairer for both buyers and sellers. I sold a few dog things on there and had a problem with the package getting lost. According to the buyer, eBay refunded me in full. I think we're an official I Hate eBay channel though, Marcia, so let's not be talking good about them. I've heard guitar sellers say it's much better to do so on eBay. I don't know why specifically. I don't think so. I've sold guitars on Reverb despite having issues with their fees and a couple other things, but over eBay because I trust eBay way less than I trust Reverb, and I might have issues with Reverb, but I don't distrust them the way I do. I don't distrust Reverb the way I distrust eBay. Let's just leave it at that for now, because I don't want to get in trouble. Because if I talk about them too much, I will get in trouble. I get in enough trouble with Gibson. So, Mark says, yes, selling locally to creepers in desolate parking lots with cash only is always the safest bet. Well, what you do there, and this is just a life hack, uh, don't meet creepy people in parking lots. There you go. Life hack. Never let me down, that one. If you are going to meet someone, meet them in a very open public space with lots of people around so that it's not half as creepy. Um, and if you want, sign up with Stripe or Square and get a card reader, and then they can pay you by a credit card or debit card or whatever. Very easy. Be a business. Uh, but yeah, definitely don't meet creepy people. Richard Virginia says, Arse, I've been selling on both eBay and Reverb for many years, and I like Reverb much better. Just had too many problems with eBayers. Sir, yep. He says, I weighed my Epi double neck and it weighs 14 pounds. I would imagine the Gibson with better wood it probably weighs more. Maybe. Yeah, it's very possible. And Todd says, I don't care how old they get, I'll watch AC/DC forever. Some others, I would agree, should stop. Just my opinion. I mean, sir. there's a lot of opinions on aging rock stars when they should stop. I definitely agree there should be a proper stop at some point. I think a lot of it is people are afraid to tell people that when to stop. Because they make money off those bands. Like people running their businesses and so forth won't tell them to stop because they make a lot of money off them. So, but yeah, there's definitely, I think once you hit a certain age, you should just be like, I'm just gonna stop now. Anyways, the Art 300 came out in 5 finishes and I collected 4 of them. I must have that BBC. Oh crap, I think I just screwed up. British Broadcasting Corporation will not be happy with you, sir. That's all I'm going to say there. Eric says, Todd Moore, I hope you get to. I'm sure the show will still blow your balls off. So be careful. Bring ball protection when you do go see them. Severe Band says, AC/DC has been decimated. Only Brian and Angus now. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? I think so. Especially in this touring group. There was talk that Duff McKagan was going to spend this year touring with them, but that appears to be fake news. So there you go. On that one, I think we're quite near to the end of the chat, guys. So maybe you guys are getting used to the 1 hour shows. That was interesting. There was a couple other things I said we might talk about. Can't remember what they are. Anyway, keep the chats coming in. See if we get another 20 minutes out of this when we get to the bottom. Or they might just drop in a whole lot more chats on top of me. Who knows? Bug Lips is here. Says, oh crap, I forgot today was Saturday. It's all right, Bug Lips. We forgive you. Glad to have you here with us, of course. Severe Bad says, Greta Van Fleet ain't going to do poop emoji. I mean, that's my thoughts on it. I'm not a big fan of them, to be quite honest. I don't get the hype around them. I don't even know if there is hype on them anymore. So yeah, I know people were talking about them a lot. And the best thing I saw was Robert Plant being interviewed and asked about them, and he was like, I've heard that voice before. I know where they got that from. Like, yeah, so does everyone else. Eric Guinsey says, I saw Greta Van Fleet at an arena about 2 years ago. Wasn't sold out. There you go. So how are we going to have Stadium Rock in a few years' time when all the big rock bands are not doing it anymore? That's my fear. Where's the big rock show is going to be? Worries me. I do genuinely lose sleep over these things. Richard Clark says, Molly Hatchet sold out our bowling alley last weekend. I mean, there you go. It's not dead. It'll never die. The old rock and roll, but there you go. Buglip says, I love Coven Japan's Earthlings, but trying to find a copy is not easy. Yeah, it is. It's very easy. What are you talking about? Just got to look in the right places where they have one. And then there you go. Mar says, more likes, people, please. And Ty, what have we got? 34 likes, 41 people watching. So that's not too bad. We won't complain about that. Let me see. Todd says, Dave, my wife spent $1,500 to see Taylor Swift last year, so I feel justified trying for AC/DC tickets. I mean, dude, $1,500. There's very few bands I would pay that money to see. First of all, I would have to have kick-ass I don't even want to say seats because I don't really want seats, but that just it would have to include so many extras for $1,500, and I feel like it would have to be a Led Zeppelin reunion with Slash joining them as well. And I don't know, like who's gonna play? I mean, yeah, Jason Bonham probably playing the drums, but like I don't know, support would need to be by uh the, the Rolling Stones. I thought I'd really pay money to see the Rolling Stones, or wouldn't. I mean, I like them, but whatever. I don't know. $1,500 is too much, man. Like, do I get a free guitar with this? Like, why am I paying that much for a ticket? But yeah, I feel you're justified buying the AC/DC tickets. Friend of mine's wife went 3 nights in a row to see Taylor Swift on tour, in Melbourne, Australia this year, fairly recently. And I'm like, why? Why did you get 3 nights? How did you get tickets for 3 nights anyway? Isn't it like the most difficult tickets, Taylor Swift? I don't know. Cesar went. He enjoyed it. He put it up on his Instagram. Mar says, "Hey, I don't love eBay either. I just like to stir up healthy debate. I don't know. It must be this week is your eBay sponsorship. I know what's going on with you, Marsha. I know you're getting those sponsorships. It's either string companies or eBay. I know what you're up to. It's all good. It's all good." As Todd says, stirring the pot. Nella says, "I rarely shop on eBay anymore." Me too, man. I mean, I just have a thing against them, but um, there you go. It's past experiences will curry your opinions on these things. I just haven't had a good experience as a seller or a buyer. I suppose as a buyer I have. Sion Dunley, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Says, "Hey Dave, new to the channel, but enjoyed your video on the Billy Joe Epiphone." Oh, thanks so much. That's quite a while now I made that one, so I can't quite remember it, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, it's super cool that you enjoyed that video. Hope you'll enjoy many more over the next while. Should have a good one coming out. I said about the Epiphone new range that's coming out soon. That'll be out Tuesday, I think. Should be maybe Tuesday. Depends how things go. I might get it recorded tomorrow. We'll see. Mar says, "By the way, people are asking why the Everly Brothers guitar is getting re-released at this point in time. I know they're hard to come by online, but the real reason, unofficial Taylor Swift guitar. I don't know. I don't know if that's the reason. But there's a big demand for the Everly Brothers guitar. That's something I can say. Like people who want those really want them, so they know they're going to sell however many they're making. So yeah, that's why pretty much they could reissue those once a year and sell out once a year, no problem. Eric Hines says it stands for Blackberry Cayman, to be very clear. Yeah, sure. We get you, Eric. Severe Band says, "Hard to watch Angus throw himself down the metal grated stage at his age." I don't want to upset Todd because I know Todd's a massive AC/DC fan, but I do remember the last time I saw Angus playing, I was like, how's he going to get through a 3-hour show? But he does, in fairness to him, he gets through it. So fair play to him. I'd say this may be their last tour, though, as AC/DC. I mean, I can't see them doing too many more. And that's why I was willing to go to a certain price for tickets, but definitely not for 400. I thought that was just too much. Let me see. AC/DC can become Simon and Garfunkel type band. I don't know if they can, Scott, but that's a very interesting idea. For sure. Mar says, "No, I just wasn't talking. That's how that happens. Anytime I stop talking, Dave catches up faster." That must be it. You're not causing the controversy in the chat enough, Marcia. That's what's going on. Eric says, you can meet a buyer or seller at our local police station parking lot. Safe. There you go. There's a better idea than meeting them at a random parking lot at some McDonald's or something. Benny says, "Anyway, how about the new Maybach Jet Wings? That's their Flying Bees. They even got a Carina one for €2,200. Benny, you know who's going to love that? Muddy H2O. He's like the Flying V maestro of the channel. Even I am not the Flying V maestro that Muddy H2O is. So I'll let him take a look at that. I haven't seen them, to be honest, but definitely want to take a look at it. I think the Flying V is very misrepresented in the other than Gibson market, other than obviously a couple of bands turned them into like metal-y things, but one-to-one replicas or similar things. Definitely, Flying V's not done enough. Should be done a lot more. Like a Strat is done by every guitar company. So is a Tele, so is a Les Paul at some point. So, when I start up three-chord Dave guitars, that's what we're going to do. Just Flying V's and an SGs. These are the only two models we're going to make. Gibson can send us cease and desist letters. We won't care. Um, get your investment in now on what's the thing? Kickstarter. Yeah, it's not there, but it's soon. It's coming soon, maybe. Richard says, Dave, have a great Easter and thanks for your answer. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us and thanks for asking questions. Happy to answer as many as I can. Eric Ainsley says, for example, I just wouldn't be able to see Ozzy at this point and not for many years. It's sad, but I'm not interested in attending what is basically a funeral. Yeah, man, I get that point. Like, and you're not seeing them at their prime, it's 100%. But at the same time, I've gone to see Axl Rose. He's not in his prime. So, but he still puts on a good show. And I think that's the thing. If they're still putting on a show that's enjoyable, people will still enjoy it. So as long as they're doing that, it's good. But I get you. Look, you can still watch those recordings of the old shows, and those are still great. So, yeah. But I said the vibe, honestly, sometimes it's just being in that crowd, singing those songs yourself with the band playing them. That's just, that for me on Thursday night was one of the better things that's happened in a while because I was able to just enjoy pure rock and roll for a couple of hours and just, nothing else mattered in that time. And it was just, it soothes your soul a little bit. Scott says, Eric, good advice. Our local cops have designated parking spots for such things. Great. That is a good idea. Severe Band, sorry. Judas Priest's new album is amazing. Could be their best. Interesting. Haven't heard it yet. I'm sure I'll get around to it, but it's not made its way to me yet. I think I might have heard a couple of their new songs actually, but my playlists are usually quite repetitive. It's just Steel Panther and Guns N' Roses over and over again. DMAX says, I've seen a really good club and theater shows lately. Prefer them actually over large arena and stadium shows. Nothing wrong with those, DMAC, absolutely. I was at an arena show just 2 days ago and thoroughly enjoyed it. I haven't actually been to a stadium. Actually, here's me talking about stadium shows. I've been to one stadium show. two stadium shows my whole life. Paul McCartney and Bon Jovi. I'm sorry, the Bon Jovi one, I got a free ticket. That's why I went. I'm not going to get into it. Let me see. I've seen a really good. Oh yeah, that's there we go. Buglip says Rob Halford looks like an arthritic garden gnome, but my God, is his voice on point, and that's all that matters, sir. Money H2O with a super chat says my left nipple is erect. Did someone say Karina V? Yes, they did, Muddy. Thank you so much for your super chat, sir. I'm glad your nipples are working. I don't know if glad is the right word there, but yeah. Yes, Maybach jet wings. You should look them up. Benny recommended that you look them up, says they look good. There is not one band anywhere I'd pay $1,500 for, ever, anywhere. I even paid for meet and greets that were nowhere near that, says Eric Ainsley. Honestly, yeah, I don't think I'd pay $1,500. It would be a Zeppelin. If it was Zeppelin, I would pay whatever. Even these days. so yeah, I'd pay whatever for Zeppelin, but beyond that, yeah, there's nobody. I wouldn't pay that for meet and greet Guns N' Roses tickets, which would be like probably the band I listen to the most anyway. But Zeppelin would be massive for me. If I could see Zeppelin, I'd pay whatever. Don't be judging me, but that's what would happen. Marcia says, gosh, I wish I'd got an eBay sponsorship. Me too. For my channel, eBay for out there, you can sponsor me. It's fine. I'm open to sponsorships. But I don't think they will because I've already said I don't like them. Nella says, I wonder if people who pay $1,500 for a concert also bitch for $1,500 Epiphones. I've never paid $1,500 for a concert. I just would if it was Zeppelin. The 1500 Epiphone thing, I mean, people will always bitch about it because that's not what Epiphone have been known for the last 30 years. So, but of course, I know, and I have to mention this because other people, not you, but other folks will mention, but Epiphone used to be its own thing. You don't know your history. I know all about Epiphone's history. Come on, man. Not saying you would say that to me, sir, but other folks have in the past. So we know all about the Epiphone history. That Epiphone was its own company. It was bigger than Gibson and it was biggest competitor and all that sort of stuff. But you know, anyways, we'll we'll get into that another time again, I am sure. But in terms of 1500 Epiphones, as long as they're really, 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 really good guitars, I don't actually have a problem with them charging that money. As long as they're really, really, really good. Hoping that they are, because I do love Epiphone and Gibson. So come on, Cesar, pull it out of the bag, this one. Eric says, I've had good experience with Sweetwater used gear page so far. That's good to know, yeah. Obviously, I don't have access to it really, so glad to hear it's good though. I saw an interesting comment. Where was it? Oh, I've got a little bit of... Oh, I've got way more comments than I thought I do. Did I? Where's that 1500 Epiphones thing? There we go. Severe Band says Guitar Max lead tested a Chibson on his channel and it tested positive on the frets. I can't say I'm surprised. I haven't seen that on Guitar Max's channel. As just to remind anyone, I have been out of the loop a little bit for the last few weeks on YouTube, so I haven't seen a lot of the newer videos that have been put out, let's say over the last month. Guitar Max is someone I enjoy. I do watch his videos when I get a chance, so I'll have to catch up on that and see. That is one, not surprising, and two, kind of funny. So I'll see what Max says when I get to watch the video. We had another super chat come in. Thank you so much. Andrew House for $10. Says 1963 LP SG Epi release 4/2/24 $40.99. What do you think? All custom bookers. Yes, sir. I have it up on the other page here. Let me see. Where is it? Music Store. So yeah, I have it's €15.99 Europe is what we are getting from Music Store. Music Store saying these are available immediately. Mahogany body, mahogany neck, slim taper neck, of course, because that's correct. Ebony fretboard, 22 frets. Graph Tech nut, custom buckers in the pickups, hand-wired Mallory caps, three-way switch, all that sort of good stuff. Maestro Vibrola, Grover Rotomatic tuners, and gold hardware, which, if you bear with me, I'll show you a quick picture here. And we will see. Now, as I said, these are part of the inspired by Gibson Les Paul range that's coming out. There you go. It's a nice guitar. I've gone on record before though saying I wouldn't buy white guitars if there was any other options. So I'm waiting to see if they bring out other options. Described as a 1963 Les Paul SG custom with Maestro Vibrola classic white, €1,599. So what price do you have? $14.99 did you say? Oh, sorry, where's my super chats gone? Where is it? Come on, YouTube. $14.99 you have. What do you think? I think it's very like the 59 Les Paul that's coming as well. I think it's very good. I think it's going to be probably the best Epiphone SG on the market in terms of specs and how it will be when it comes out of the box. I'm a huge SG fan anyway, so I think SG is probably my favorite guitar, but I just wish it was Pelham Blue. And I know that's not historically correct, but come on, you need a Pelham Blue one. Looks like a great guitar. I think these Epiphones that are coming out, this inspired by Gibson custom collection, they're fantastic. They should be, hopefully, the best Epiphones ever made. I think they need to be at the price points, and I'm going to hold them to that. I think they need to be really, really good. It's interesting that the 59 Les Paul is coming in cheaper than that SG. Is that just because there's an extra pickup? I don't know, but still, SGs are generally a lot cheaper than Les Pauls. So, not quite sure. But as I said, musicstore.com, they actually say that they're available now. So, at $15.99, the same with a couple of the 59 Les Pauls. Les Paul Customs, though, they're saying 19th and 18th for the black and white one. So I like them. I think they're going to be very good. I think they're going to be very popular. I just hope they keep the quality up on them high. They need to. Specs wise, they are what you'd want from a high end stuff. So good stuff from them. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see what they're actually like when people get them in hand. Let me see. Eric says, one exception to the aging rock stars, Rob Halford. He just keeps getting better and better. Go see Judas Priest. Go see Judas Priest. Yeah, great band, of course. Glenn Beatty says, I paid $15 to see The Who in 1982, 35 CG&R in Skid Row in 1992, just before Izzy left. 1,500. Ain't nobody I would pay that much to see. Maybe Muddy H2O. That's interesting because he actually charges $15 to go see him. So you could go see him like 100 times. Glenn says, thanks for another great stream, Muddy H2O. I mean, Dave. Glenn, you know well that Muddy streams on a different platform, which we're not allowed to mention on YouTube. But he will mention in his own way. Booklip says, I think Halford's economy of motion on stage so he can put all into his voice is a smart move. That is a smart move. Scott Bogfoot says, Dave, do glitter as a guitar finish work in your opinion? I think anything can work as a finish, depending on what you do with it. But yeah, so some people will love it and some people won't. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I think it'll be fine, depending on what color it's mixed with and stuff like that. So yeah. Richard Clark says, a Sparkle Top Deluxe is on my bucket list. I'd love a Sparkle Top Deluxe. Yeah, for sure. Don't think that's bad at all. Let me see then. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Guys, Sam Dunley says, we will miss them when they're gone. I regret not getting a chance to see David Bowie. That would have been good, yeah, either in his prime or not. That is very true. I would have loved to see Bowie. There's a good few I would have loved to see. I think I have seen most of my bucket list, though, at this point. Jimmy Page is the one that I haven't seen that I would love to see. But hey, what can you do? Scott says, like Sesame Street, this show is brought to you by the letter H and the number 20. I feel like I need to say no to that. It just makes him feel a little bit more. Just I can't give money that power. Better than the letters F and U, which is what I would assume it would have been. Todd Moore says, gotta fly, guys. Thanks, Dave. Peace and love to you all. Rock on. Thanks, Todd. Appreciate you being with us tonight. Thank you, sir. Rob F says, thanks, Dave. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you. You probably already mentioned the new Epiphone models with the Gibson headstock just released. Yeah, their official releases next week, Sir Bond. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for dropping it up there. We did mention them early in the show, but I will be doing a video about them and the specs wise and stuff in the next couple of days. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure your notifications and that are turned on, guys. Ryan says, wow, fell asleep in a parking lot. Don't do that if you're waiting for creepy dudes, Ryan. That's Marshall's advice. Severe Band says, I wouldn't pay $1,500 for anyone. I would just sneak in. It's a way better option. That's what I'll do. If Zeppelin reform and Slash is playing with them as well, so Slash is back, or I don't know, Zeppelin with Slash in the same band, I'm going. So yeah, let's all sneak into that together. Money says I'd get the used $999 Gibson SG Special and said it will cuts over that Epi personally. Yeah, but I mean, SG Specials, I can't argue with that. Eric says, I feel stupid now. I thought Buglip's first Halford comment was a response to mine. Now it looks like I copied what he said. I swear I had an original thought. Pure coincidence. We believe you, Eric. It's all good, man. It's all good. Original thoughts are very good. Hard to hate a Sister Rosetta Epi, though. It would be nice if they slapped her name on it, though, wouldn't it? And gave her family some money. It's all good. Richard Clark says, the white SG is nice, but the red Firebird is getting my money. Red Firebird's nice, man. It is very nice. The SG in white should be a Sister Rosetta Tharp signature model. I agree, Nella. Absolutely. Andrew House says, why is Europe always charged more than here in the US? Ridiculous. Oh, sir, if I could talk. Yeah, it is ridiculous, but folks will folks will have reasons, but usually like it never matches up. It's not even close. Sometimes it's 200-300 bucks more by the time taxes and everything are included in the US sales, trans and money exchanged and stuff like that. So yeah, it is a little bit annoying, but hey, it's just what it is. You got to deal with it, unfortunately, over here. So um, yeah, I've been quite vocal about it. I think Cesar does it just to wind me up now. It's just for me personally. That's why. So I apologize to all my European friends. Triple humbucker guitars are very awkward to play unless you just bury that middle pickup. Yeah, Eric, I've never really wanted a third pickup. So I've spoken about it before. I'm not a big fan of three pickup guitars, but I do like how they look. That's the weird thing. And SGs are awesome. So let's just throw that out there. Of all kinds of SGs. Scott Bogfoot says those Firebird Epis are the craziest price in their lineup, in my opinion. Getting great reviews though. Eric says because the guitars have to get to Europe, then you are charged a value tax. So I mean, it's the same. Other companies, for example, Richard, charge similar, or have to pay the same things, but their prices are kind of consistent across the board. Like it's let's say Fender bring out a guitar and it's $1,500. It'll likely be around €1,500. Gibson bring out a $1,500 guitar, or Epiphone bring out a $1,500 guitar in dollars. It's usually $1,799 here. They're the only guitar company this happens with. So I get you where you're coming from, but the tax is included in all the prices of everything. It's not added afterwards. It's just, and usually the guitars, I mean, coming to Europe from wherever they're shipped straight here, they don't go to the US first. It's annoying, and there's no real explanation for it, in my opinion, but there you go. I could go on a long rant about it, but I'm not going to, because Cesar will then never come on the channel to talk to me about guitars. Severe Band says, I've got an Epiphone SG Standard 61. Nice one. Wasn't too expensive. Those are great guitars, man. So yeah, that is making me jealous. Money at Show says, Glenn, you can come see me for a 6-pack and a package of Twizzlers. This is why Muddy and I get on so well, because we both like Twizzlers. Scott Bogford says, probably based a little bit on used gear availability too. Over here, it seems like everyone has a Gibson under the bed. Interesting. It's not what Muddy has under his bed, but Glenn says, I don't do anything for money, but I've done some sketchy shit for peanut butter cups and vanilla ice cream. Way too much info, Glenn, but I appreciate you sharing it all with us anyway. And then you say, those new Firebirds are nice. True statement. Marcia says to Andrew, yeah, it's silly, costs more to ship them over to Europe, crap. Import tax, not really an issue, Eric, I don't think. I mean, there's not much more import tax. I mean, you got to pay VAT, but when you import or customs duty, but it's usually not that much of an issue for the bigger companies. So, anyways, I'm not going to read that out, Richard, because I will get clipped and I will get in trouble. But I get where you're coming from. You're a funny man, and I love you. Eric says, agreed. Triple humbuckers look super sexy. You can clip that up for sure. Scott Bugford says, we pay duties too, but at least EU states the import tax as a separate number that you can see. We don't get that luxury in Canada. I don't know why it should be a luxury to have music as a hobby anyway. That's very true. Our import taxes are Byzantine and incomprehensible, and sometimes I pay nothing on huge purchases. Sometimes I get wrecked on tiny things. That has happened to me too. Customs is just mental. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been a fun one. I enjoyed talking to you as always. We've talked a lot about guitars and things. Some new people dropped in and chatted with us, which is very nice to see. We love having you new folks. There will definitely be a video out for you this Tuesday at the latest. It might drop on Monday, but hopefully Tuesday. And probably the podcast episode which is only the second one. So let's see how far we get into it. That should drop maybe Thursday or Friday. And I'll be back here again for Chord Dave Live next Saturday. So I hope you can join me. I will do another hour and a half then, and we'll have some good times. Keep an eye out on Epiphone and Gibson releases on Tuesday. Let me know if you see anything else in the wild, like on the musicstore.com site or anywhere else, for things that might have dropped or leaked early, and I'll make videos and tell everybody about them. Join our Facebook group, which I forgot to say earlier today. You can support the channel with the links in the description below. But if you do any of that, or if you don't, whatever, just know that I love you, and thank you so much for joining me and making my Saturdays a little bit special. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say. My name is Chord Dave. I'll be back in another guitar related video very soon, but until then, take care.